Once, a handwritten letter was proof of presence, a smudge of ink, a breath in between lines. These marks were byproducts of analog labor, flaws that became signifiers of authenticity. But as digital tools took over, we began to notice the absence of these imperfections. The grain on film, static on radio broadcasts, they were not just nostalgic. They told us something was real. Roland Barthes once described authenticity as something tied to the physical. That has been. It was about tradition and time. But now algorithms can mimic that trace with surgical precision, generating handwritten fonts, vocal cracks, even tear-inducing Instagram filters. We no longer ask if it's real, we ask how convincing it is. Welcome to my dehumanization, where machines not only imitate, but perform imperfection. Auto-tune wasn't just a tool, it became an effect, masking the difference between correction and creation. The more we can control these natural signals, the less they mean. Authenticity is no longer a trace of origin. It's a parameter in a model, tweaked for emotional impact.
In Image Music Text, Barthes reveals how speech, far from being transparent, is riddled with slippages that betray the speaker's intentions. Each utterance.
AI isn't just mimicking speech or visuals. It's learning to inject human flaws, like slurred words or clumsy camera angles, to pass as real. These imperfections aren't random. They're calculated artifacts, designed to trigger our trust in what we perceive as authentic. OpenAI's voice models struggle because users want absurd imitations. A voice-turned clown for attention proves how deep the hunger is for something that feels genuine, but isn't. The line between simulation and performance now blurs, and with it, the very idea of what's real.
Can you show us how you
Well, this key here, process. Of course, the process key. We move to a noise removal process screen, which automatically searches the data for impulse noise.
So the computer found that blip.
Exactly. This right here is probably a scratch on the record that was recorded, of course, in the data on the disk. Then the computer proposes to replace the scratch with the average signal from both sides of the scratch.
Detection systems are no longer just looking for glitches in images or audio. Today, they analyze behavior, trying to find what some call a soul signature. When you look at AI-generated video clips, the problem isn't that the pixels don't add up. It's that the emotional cadence feels off, like watching an actor recite Shakespeare with perfect diction, but no heartbeat beneath it. This is the new frontier of forgery. The algorithm doesn't just copy style, it simulates intentionality. After the clip, we see that VO 3.1 and Flow Music are not just generating convincing media. They're packaging it as a performance of creativity itself. The illusion is no longer in the realism, but in the suggestion that this output came from a mind with taste, rhythm, or vision. This isn't just about faking content anymore. It's about selling an avatar of artistic intent to viewers who still crave human touch. The AI doesn't just make art, it plays the artist. As the voice fades, we confront a deeper issue. When technology redefines truth itself, what is left to believe? The arms race between creation and detection isn't just technical, it's ontological. We now live in an era where the line between human action and machine simulation blurs so fast that trust can only be borrowed, never earned. Every verification tool becomes a loophole, every fake a new benchmark for legitimacy.
And every student becomes a publisher, and that means also that the teachers become publishers of their own musical material, and the professional composers can also publish for the audience of people who have the same instrument. So absolutely, yes, it is a new form of publishing, but a very personal one.
Very quickly, we have about a half a minute left. Do you find a resistance among professional musicians and composers, or they really love to get into this?
Well, I mean, at Stanford...
Roland Barthes once described the photograph as proof of a having been there. It was a kind of temporal fossil, evidence that something occurred in real time and space. But now, with generative AI capable of rendering perfect forgeries, even the photograph can no longer carry the weight of authenticity it once did. The camera's eye is being replaced by an algorithmic gaze, one that doesn't see what was, but only what could be. If a photo no longer implies a past event, then what's left to trust? Then what remains of the "this was so"? We are not living in an era of glitches or accidents. We're now in the age of the spoofed soul, where algorithms simulate emotion, memory, and even nostalgia with machine precision. The paradox is that by trying to preserve authenticity through technology, we've made it something else entirely. Perhaps what we call authenticity today isn't a loss at all, but an evolution. A new kind of reality, built not in spite of machines, but through them.